Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at WandaVision, Marvel's newest show, which just concluded. And this show split people like ass cheeks here. There was some people that really fucking hated the show, and then some that praised it as Marvel's best work. So let's just dive in. I'll let you know right away. Fucking hate sitcoms. I've never liked sitcoms, even as a kid growing up. I just couldn't really stand it. That laugh track is a thing of fucking nightmares. It ruins anything that it's in. I've never liked sitcoms, so this was really a bit of a rough genre for me to get excited about. But I really found myself kind of enjoying it. It wasn't like laughing out loud, slapping my knee at the sitcom jokes in WandaVision, but they were using the sitcom setting as a way of portraying a very interesting narrative and universe and making the viewer constantly ask why. And that's when WandaVision's at its best. You get all kinds of decades of sitcoms that it's very tongue-in-cheek, very self-aware, which I can appreciate because it's not taking itself super seriously. But throughout these episodes in the sitcom, you're seeing things that just aren't right, you know? Like in the very first episode, at a dinner, there's a man that starts choking, and his wife just keeps saying, "Stop it," with a smile on her face, kind of teasing, but then as she keeps saying "stop it" a million times, she gets to be a little more fearful, not so much that her husband's choking to death, more so at the whole atmosphere. Because something's not really going according to script. You can see fear set in on Wanda's face as well as Vision, and it's a really eerie scene that starts to set the tone to the viewer like, this isn't just a sitcom, there's clearly something more sinister going on here. And as the sitcom continues to go, more of these anomalies happen, and you're starting to piece together things, and a lot of fucking fan theories were popping up all over the place online, which is pretty cool, because I haven't really seen too many these days, and I really enjoyed that, but by the end, I really felt like it started to lose its footing. Of course, all the fan theories, as always, are wrong, even though some of them are really fun food for thought to play with, but a lot of it was just kind of thrown out the window, going for a more generic conclusion. I am going to get into a little bit of spoiler territory here because I do want to talk about it since it is like my chief complaint with the show. So just fair warning, there's going to be some minor spoilers here. Nothing huge. I'm not going to fucking tell you Santa Claus isn't real and ruin the show or whatever. But just wanted to give that warning. So really this show is two different shows that go ass to ass. And I don't think they work very well together. There's the sitcom portion of the show, which is the Wanda world that's been created, full of all kinds of wild shit that goes on there. And then the generic Marvel Cinematic Universe world where you have S.W.O.R.D. that's been investigating. And everything involving S.W.O.R.D. is just really generic shit. You know, we're hacking in to see what's going on under the covers. We're using infrared drone technology to see if we can get a read on what's happening in there. And then it's just really boring. The characters, I think, are fun on the S.W.O.R.D. side, especially Jimmy in particular. I really enjoyed his character every scene he was in. But I really feel like it just didn't add very much. It was just so cliche from the S.W.O.R.D. side of things that I felt like it just took away from the more interesting and unique aspect of WandaVision, which was everything happening in Westview. The sitcom, why it was happening. Was Wanda the villain? She's done a lot of fucked up things with what she's doing in there. She's more of a villain than a protagonist. And it was really an interesting thing to play with because Marvel hasn't really explored that very well, in my opinion, where they have, like, this character that is supposed to be a good guy doing some real fucked up shit. And that's what WandaVision really was to me in the beginning. But then by episode 6, it takes a huge turn for the worst, in my opinion. It gets painfully standard. There's still some elements of the good WandaVision left, but overall, it's a really generic conclusion to what I thought was a more interesting approach to a superhero story. The show spends about 7 episodes showing Wanda doing some fucked up shit, where she's basically torturing people and taking away their free will. And it's a character you can't really root for, but you can certainly sympathize with given everything Wanda's been through. But by episode 7, and this is like the biggest spoiler here, they for some reason decide to bring in a new villain, an actual cliche standard cartoonish supervillain, like straight out of a fucking comic book. A villain comes in, it's like, I am actually evil and this is why I'm evil and here's some evil shit I've done. And then that's what happens. She now squares off against an evil bad person, and they have a superhero fight where they're throwing punches and shooting laser beams at each other and using magic at the end, and then that's really where it concludes. I felt like that was such a wet fart to send off this show that I thought did a great job of at least trying new things in the superhero genre. I just couldn't help but be really let down by the conclusion. And I really feel like this whole show could have done without Sword. Sword really didn't do much until like the very end when it got very generic. All they were doing were serving as a lens for the viewer to piece together what was happening, which is fine, of course, but I feel like maybe there could have been another way of doing that. Again, that's not really to say it was bad. Like, for example, Jimmy and Monica I think were really good. Darcy as well. Like, I thought they were good characters, but I really feel like that whole arc detracted from the more interesting aspects of WandaVision in Westview. And really, the end, I can't stress enough just how out of place that felt. It was like actual fucking 1940s comic book writing where everything is explained to you, just fucking beaten into your asshole about what's actually going on. The fucking supervillain comes in and monologues. I want power. I am here for power. I want all this power, power, power. Oh, you did this because of power. Like, it's so silly. And it was really just a big old letdown, to be honest, when probably like the last 2 episodes, I would say. Though there were still good moments in them, it really just kind of hindered a pretty decent show. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug WandaVision into the moist meter now. I'm going to give it a 70%. I think the show is very enjoyable and interesting. Even if you hate sitcoms like I do, there was still quite a bit to like about the show. I really enjoyed most aspects of it. And even with lackluster ending, it still was a fine experience. And I want to again say, like, the ending's not like bad, it's just disappointing. Like, it's still an entertaining ending. Like, the fighting's still good, everything looks good. It's a fucking Marvel show, so I mean, obviously it's gonna look good. So there's no real problem with how the fight goes or anything. It's just, I felt like there could have been more they could have done with the conclusion, considering how long they spent setting up a very unique and interesting premise. But anyway, that's about it. Recently I've been hitting the weights extremely hard, trying to put on extra muscle, looking for at least 100 more pounds of muscle on this 5'6" frame, and in doing so, I've been using Raycons pretty much daily, so that way I don't have a wire dangling in front of me when I'm lifting weights. As I've talked about numerous times now, I think a high quality pair of wireless earbuds are extremely important, and Raycon offer an incredible one. The everyday E25 are still their best model yet, giving you 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, a compact design, comfortable noise isolating fit, super simple to set up, super quick to set up. They have the same amazing quality that you're used to from other premium audio brands, but at half the price. If you're interested in trying Raycon for yourself, you can go to buyraycon.com/moist to get 15% off your Raycon purchase, or just click the link in the description below. That's buyraycon.com/moist for 15% off. That's it. See ya.